What's going on, guys? Welcome to Rob's house. Today we're tuning the Corvette.
Starting with our old tune, we updated the torque values a little bit. We got it idling nice, chopping nice. Did a bunch of like drivability type stuff already. And now we're gonna go for some power. So let's see. Lee has the right idea. It's going to be loud. Go. The torque management closed the throttle because driver demand hadn't been updated. We're commanding 528 pound-feet of torque and we got like 700, so it just closed the throttle on us. Should be good now. Did we?
I added 2 degrees. I mean, I made 100 more horsepower. I made 100 more horsepower.
Yeah, I made 100 more horsepower, so now we can play around with timing now that it's not fighting us. So that run we got 666 horsepower and 680 torque. I'm never gonna get tired of that sound.
696, 700.
All right. It's better.
I don't know if it let me rev all the way out or not.
I don't know if you did.
It cut me at 6,700. So yeah, it let me rev all the way.
Let's try again. About the same.
It got throttle at 6,600 again.
Did it?
Yeah.
Why?
That's why.
Oh, there you go.
That's why.
We missed a table.
How many tables can we have?
That was more.
Yes, it was.
705, 715.
716.
716.
708, actually.
Oh, 708? Yeah. Oh, I thought it said 705. My bad.
It does that, and then when you like go back over it, it changes.
Oh, that's weird.
This time we were 100% throttle the whole way.
Good.
Boost was 100 and... Drops a little bit up top there. That was a little less than normally.
Really?
Yeah. Second intake air temp was staying actually pretty good.
Degrees colder IATs there, same power, so we got to be running out of boost. So 710, 715. I mean, that's still decent.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just on. That's on pump gas.
That's on pump gas, yeah. So not bad. Come back when we do eat. All right, guys. Important thing to note when tuning C7 Corvettes, apparently, or
it's just Gen 5 in general.
Gen 5, yeah, Gen 5 GM
I mean, you should
stuff.
do with Gen 4, but most of us get away with it by not doing it. But obviously, on these, you have to.
So previously, as you saw in the earlier clips in this video, we tuned the car using mass airflow only, right? Hold on before you start that. We tuned the car and we used mass airflow only, so we set the cutoff super low so that it's always using MAF, which was fine for our power pulls, but the drivability was, frankly, pretty so we're back today.
Your rev match was.
Well, the tip and throttle was pretty bad too. So tip and throttle was pretty bad. The rev match was really bad. So today we're tuning for volumetric VE tables, volumetric efficiency, and we're just about done. JT says he has no clue what he was doing, but he was able to do it
While you went to go get breakfast.
while I went to go get breakfast, which was like not even an hour. So pretty good. If you have a cam, if it's stock with bolt-ons, you don't really have to, because it won't be that far off. So before, I didn't film it, but before, when you would do rev match without the VE tuning proper, until it got a MAF reading, it was using the VE tables, which were way too rich.
Because it's got a cam, it's less volumetric efficient at lower RPMs because of the overlap and the
okay.
So you gotta pull VE out, aka fuel out, and the MAP tables for the MAP sensor. We tuned it with MAP because I tuned it like I tuned other cars, but
yeah,
it's a little more complicated.
Yeah, so what that translated to when doing rev matching is when I would downshift in the low RPM range, the throttle would be like all over the place. Like it wouldn't hang the rev right where it's supposed to be. It would be like RPM's coming down, and then I go to rev match and I go wow, 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 wow. It would just kind of like flutter constantly. It was really messed up. So it like borderline undrivable messed up. So like car was jerking all around and stuff like that. So anyway, we got all that sorted out. Now that what you just saw on the video is like spot on rev matching how it's supposed to work. So well done, sir. We still have to tune for E85, so this video will not be done today, but that's okay. We wanted to get all the drivability stuff done first, iron out the pump gas tune, get it like, you know, spot on where it needs to be, all the drivability little quirks and stuff like that, and then a different day we can throw E85 and do some more power pulls. Good luck.
Pretty responsive.
Responsive? I can't tell, I'm not pressing the pedal. It's not doing that timing dip anymore when you tip in?
No.
It's good.
It does when you just, well, it does it then because you like tap and pull off, and when you pull off it.
Yeah. We re-enabled MAF now, so we're seeing if the tune together, the VE and MAF, are working properly together. All right, so we had to pull a little bit out of the torque tables to get the rev match all straightened out, but now we're good. Volumetric efficiency and MAF tuning seems pretty good. We're gonna teach JT how to Burble tune now.
So now it should do what it's supposed to.
Give him more. Yes, Burble tunes. All right, now that that's all straightened out, we're going to make sure we're not gonna get any throttle closure up top, so we're just gonna do a pull real quick, make sure everything's cool. Should be good. All right, good. We're good then.
All right, guys, we're back. It is time to do the E85 tune today. I am about to head over to the shop. I went on a joyride this morning to kind of drain most of the fuel from the car. I am currently flashing the tune. I have enabled flex fuel and set it to sensor because I have a flex fuel sensor in this car. Hopefully everything works as intended. JT told me this is all I should have to do to be able to drive it over to the shop. So I am flashing this tune. We're gonna go get some E85 and head over to Freedom Motorworx. All right, guys, moment of truth. There's no turning back now. Either the car runs or it doesn't, but we're filling it up with E85. Flex fuel, E85, stop, not gasoline, yes. Flex fuel only, that's us. All right, guys, moment of truth. E85, start, please start. Well, she's running. Ladies and gentlemen, we made it. The car burned corn all the way here, no hiccups, actually felt fine. So, let's get it on the dyno. Well, guys, I jinxed it as we were pulling the car and it threw a check engine light, so we need to see why. In theory, it shouldn't do that, but we'll see. All right, car, why are we pissed off? Let's find out.
System too lean or too rich?
Yeah.
Yep.
What is it?
System too lean. So this is fuel density tables.
Okay.
So that was actually set up okay, but your problem before was this table. So it was 14.82 all the way across. Alcohol requires more fuel. So at 1 lambda, 50% alcohol is 11.37 air fuel, not 1408.
Right. So it was running lean as shit, basically, the whole time.
Yeah. Well, it compensated for itself, but it was very pissed off about it.
Flashing, flashing. So before, for the viewers at home, before all
like
of these,
plus 30.
Yeah, all of these fuel trims were like off the chart plus 30. It's not, that's a lot better now. Smell the corn.
I can smell the corn.
Smell the corn, smell the corn. I wish I could record the smells for you guys at home and let you smell it's a lovely smell.
It's a 52% now.
52?
52, and you drove all the way here, so it's...
Well, I had a quarter tank of gas when I topped it off.
The spark table, we have an adder for flex fuel.
Yeah.
Obviously this is zeroed, so we're gonna populate it.
Sure.
But then we also have a multiplier versus map, so based on, where's that? There's the flex fuel multiplier. So based on alcohol content, this is how much of that number we add.
I see.
So for instance, you got 50%, so we're only gonna add 50% of that number. But when you get to 80%, it's gonna add a whole. So we may make this like 0.8. So 50%, we're gonna add 0.8%, but at 20%, we might add like 0.2. Make sense? So,
yeah. That way it doesn't add as much after 50. I see.
Because otherwise
Safer.
we may add 4 or 5 degrees to it, and then when you fill it back up and get 80%,
It's adding 10.
it may add like 12.
Yeah, that would be dangerous. Yeah, we don't want it to over add timing, so yeah. That's awesome. So all of these are level, which is good. That's what we want. We don't want the computer to be compensating like crazy. That means that our tables were really off. So before, when the short terms kicked on, they were like, boop, like all the way maxed out, like plus 30%. And that was because the Stoich table was completely off. So it wasn't commanding more fuel, but then the fuel trims were handling the extra fuel that it needed. And no check engine light now, so that's
Yeah,
cool.
you won.
So now we're gonna do some driving.
You've been messing with that a little bit.
I messed with that a little bit. So for those at home, there's two tables. There's the adder table, which is what JT's messing with right now. And then there's another table that basically tells what percentage of the adder table to add based on alcohol content. So what he's putting in here right now is, okay, if we have 85 or 80 or 85%, like full E85, this is how much we should add. Really right now we're in the 50 something percent. So we'll probably, you know, not add as much. You were gonna put that at like 0.8, right?
I'm making a couple changes.
Yeah, so anyway, he's gonna set a percentage based on alcohol content. So if we're at full E85, it'll add this much, but then there's an interpolation, right? So if we're at 50%, it'll add a percentage. If we're at 20%, it'll add a smaller percentage, etc. Dakota wants to film the hit. sounds so fucking nasty. So nasty. He likes it. Did it? Did we lose fuel?
It didn't lean out. It just broke up.
Pressure was good all the way through?
Could be some plug gap. Could be shit fuel. That's what Dakota's car was doing.
Really?
Fuel rail pressure was good. Over 57 the whole way.
Fuel pressure? Yeah.
Never changed. Dipped and went back up. Dipped and went back up. I don't know if that's... Oh no, it's coming down. High pressure's at 3,000 psi, and then by the time we get to the top, it's like 1,900 on the high pressure fuel rail.
So we have to do that low side pump?
Probably.
I had a feeling this might happen because everyone online says that if you don't mess with the stock fuel. Well, they say you can run E50 though.
Yeah, on a stock motor.
Huh?
On a stock motor.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And this may not be E50. It may just be the sensor doesn't read.
Yeah. All right, guys, what's going on? We are back over here at Freedom Motorworx. We have done a little fast forward, a little time traveling. When we left off, first of all, the Corvette was red. The Corvette is not red anymore. I have wrapped it. So as you know, there has been, there have been a couple months that have passed. And basically the issue that we had where we left off in the video was that on E85, we were running out of fuel around 5,000 RPMs and beyond. And the reason for that is that the factory fuel pump it just can't keep up, unfortunately. So we saw our fuel pressure dropping. So I went ahead and bought a DSX low side auxiliary pump for the car. It was fine on pump gas, but on E85, it requires more fuel to combust. So the factory fuel pump wasn't cutting it. So I actually came over here off camera a couple weeks ago, and Blake here at Freedom Motorworx installed the low side auxiliary fuel pump for this car. So we've got 2 fuel pumps now. Hopefully that'll be enough to run E85. I have filled up with a fresh tank of E85 from my local speedway here, and my reading is just shy of 80%. So we have pretty good content ethanol. We're gonna finish up the tune on the Corvette today, see how much power it makes on E85. We're gonna get the Corvette strapped down here, do some pulls, make sure that we don't run out of fuel, then we can dial the timing in. It didn't break up?
No, you can see it again. It never broke up. It kept going.
So we screwed up, and we hadn't updated the torque model at all for E85. There's separate torque tables for E85 Air Mass and E85 MAP that we hadn't updated. So the car, pretty much the entire pull was closing throttle on us, right? Yeah. So it only made 600 wheel.
It didn't even make that.
595, whatever. Just shy of 600 wheel.
Hey, at 50% throttle, so...
At 50% throttle, yeah. So it should make a lot more now.
It was only making 7 PSI boost.
And 7 PSI boost as opposed to like 13, 14?
Whatever it was making up top before.
I think it's like 13.
I know it falls off when we get up there, so...
I think it's like 13 if I remember. I think it's like 14 and then it falls to 13 if I remember correctly.
Something like that.
Yeah, so definitely over 10. So yeah.
Double what it was.
Double what it was, yeah, not good. So let's try this again.
Very bumpy.
Very bumpy.
Oh, we're out of injector.
We're out of injector? Good.
Why is yours not able to do what everybody else is doing?
Well, everyone else runs E50, right?
That one boy had E85 in his. At Lethal. The other one we did.
I don't know.
Same cam, the 32% low.
Yeah.
It's definitely running out of fuel though. You can see where your badass pump comes in though.
Yeah.
See right there, it like hits 85 PSI.
Yeah.
And then it starts, it's like kicking the pump and then it's keeping low side up. But see, I'm looking at duty cycle.
Yeah.
We got to 46% duty cycle on the injectors. You're only allowed about a third of 100%. So
33.
anything over like 38, 40, you're pretty much out of injector.
All right, we made some changes to the injector timing. So we weren't running out of fuel, but we were running out of injectors. So we've increased the injector timing where it starts actually fueling. We're gonna watch for soot on this run to make sure that we're not injecting too early when the exhaust valve's open. We're just adding a little bit. No soot.
No soot.
Nothing.
That's good.
Nothing at all.
No soot, but we did run out of fuel like right at 62. Like
Okay.
it just went out. You can see it where it just, well, that's where I let out. But
Is it the green line?
yeah, I could feel it like sputtering again up there.
Okay. All right, well, it looks like we need more timing. Maybe. Started to break up at 62 there, so before we did the fuel system upgrade, we completely lost fuel pressure at 5,000 RPMs. We now have fuel pressure up through 6,200 RPMs. We've lengthened our injector
We're getting
timing.
hot.
We're getting hot. We gotta let it cool down. Okay. We have to let it cool down. It's pulling timing on us. Wow! Woo! Oh, all right. 7:13, so I don't think it pulled on us that time. Yes, yes. Did it add the 4 degrees that we commanded?
Huh?
Did it add the 4 degrees that we commanded?
Yeah, it does that automatically. So.
And it didn't pull it? Oh yeah, no,
Yeah, IAT didn't pull because it wasn't too hot this time.
So on pump gas we made 708, but that was in February. We now made 713 and it's like 90 degrees outside today.
It's f***ing awful today.
Yeah, February 15th. You're right. And that was at 8:51 at night, so it was probably really cold. Yeah, it was 51 degrees
So it's 40,
Fahrenheit
40 something degrees, and you can imagine.
versus, yeah, 90 something today. So the blower's just heat soaked, unfortunately, and it'll probably make more in cold weather. This dyno does read about 5% low, so,
From what we can figure.
and honestly, even on pump gas, because it's reading almost 710 on pump gas, that means in reality we're probably in the 750 mark. Because, like I said, this dyno just consistently reads 5% low no matter what car he puts on here.
I mean, we're making the same power at, actually we're making more.
We're making more. We're making a little more, yeah. On E, 714, and actually a little less towards 711 versus 708 and 715. All right, guys, we're back home. Unfortunately, not the best day to tune a car. The ambient temperatures outside on my way home from the shop, according to my car, was about 95 degrees Fahrenheit outside. So it was really, really hot. The car didn't like it. The car was getting heat soaked. Even when we overcame the issue of throttle closure, the issue of running out of injectors, so we lengthened the injector timing range basically. So we have it starting to fuel earlier so that we weren't actually running out of fuel anymore at all up top. The car was still fighting us. It was still pulling timing on us. The IATs were way too high. We'd let the car cool completely down, and by our second pull, our IATs were over 130 degrees Fahrenheit, by our second pull. It just wasn't the right day to tune this car. But with that said, we actually made about 5 horsepower more to the rear wheels, according to JT's dyno, on E85. Now, to put this in perspective for you guys, our 708 wheel run on pump gas was in February at about 9 p.m. According to his logs, because he actually has this saved on the dyno, the ambient temperature outside was in the 50s when we did that pull. Today we're at 95 degrees and we actually still made a little bit more power on E85. So he's thinking we actually probably have 30 or 40 more wheel horsepower as the tune sits. So we made 713 on the dyno today. Let's call it 740, conservative estimate, 740 wheel. The other thing you gotta keep in mind,
with JT's dyno is his dyno reads about 5% low. Now he knows this not just from my car, but from many other cars that he's tuned that have come off other shops' dynos that have dyno jets, not Mustang dynos, not Dynacom dynos, other dyno jets, and they all read consistently bang on 5% higher than his. Now he has an older dyno jet. A lot of these shops have a newer dyno. So by today's dyno jet numbers, you figure if we add, even to the pump gas number, the 708 in the cold weather, if we add 5% of that, we're getting basically another 35 horsepower, right? So if this was on a different dyno jet, we would be at 743-ish, so just shy of 750 wheel. You figure if we have another 30 or 40 wheel out of this on E85, we're pretty close to the 800 horsepower mark. I don't think we're quite at the 800 wheel horsepower mark. We're probably just shy of it. I'm gonna guess on a good day, cold weather, and a dyno that doesn't read 5% low, so you know, pretty much any other dyno jet, I'm gonna guess we're somewhere in the 775, 780 wheel horsepower range on E85. Now, for all the people who are saying, oh, you know, you did something wrong, you know, E85, you should be making like 100 more horsepower than you did before, blah, 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 blah. That's correct in the sense that E85 lets you run more timing, but you're assuming that we're able to push more boost, and we're not. We have two challenges to overcome there. One, we're still on the stock blower. We are winding this thing out to the max. You cannot possibly push more out of the stock blower. We've got the 2.31 Grip Tech upper and the 10% lower, overdrive lower on this car right now. We're maxing out around 13 or 14 pounds of boost, and this is a 1.7 liter supercharger. We're not getting anything more out of this. So we could run a little bit more timing. We're running 4 more degrees of timing with the E85, and we're not getting any knock. But that's basically all E85 is doing for us right now. Now with that said, this car is basically future-proof now. If and when I upgrade the supercharger and put a port injection system, maybe we do a Motec or something, I don't know, we can push a lot more boost from the supercharger, and that's when the E85 is really gonna make a big difference, because we're gonna be able to keep that throttle open the whole time, cram a shit ton of boost in there, and run a lot of timing. But right now, we were already on pump gas, we were already maxed out on boost. So we're not getting, you know, it's not like a turbo car where you can also turn the boost up when you switch to E85. This is a roots blower, and it will stay a roots blower car. Even if I do an upgraded supercharger on this car will stay a roots blower car. I really like the way it drives. I really like the instant torque down low, no turbo lag, none of that stuff. You gotta figure, guys, close to 800 wheel horsepower, right? And instant torque delivery on a dyno that reads low, 715 wheel torque, and it's maxing out at like 4 grand. I forget what the graph said, but it's maxing out pretty early. This thing gets pretty squirrely, right? And I like it. I like how that, I like that, you know, low end torque delivery that you get from a roots blower. And then, you know, obviously the top end carries you through it. It does make a lot of power up top. Overall, I'm really happy. I'm not gonna be bummed out about these numbers, okay? It's a 95-degree day. It is really hot outside and the car does not like it. I really quickly touched my blower lid and it was like on fire. I say we call it, on JT's dyno, internally consistent, I say we call it 710 wheel on pump gas, because that is what we made on a good day. And today, let's say we get 30 or 40 more wheel, we're in the 740 to 750 range on E85. I'm happy with those numbers. That's what I expected for this setup. I'm gonna keep this car as is. We're gonna be turning our attention in future videos coming up. We're gonna be doing a lot of stuff to the Viper, so stay tuned for that. This thing is gonna be just a monster. It's gonna be a complete monster. In the fall, we're gonna dyno the Viper anyway, just to see how much it makes. So maybe I'll do a dyno day with JT. We'll bring the Corvette back over there when, you know, in the fall, when we can get down to a 50 or 60 degree day and run the vet again. I'm really, really, really happy with how this build came out. I really wanna thank JT and the guys at Freedom Motorworx, because you guys knocked this out of the park with this car. I love how this thing drives. I was talking to JT earlier today and he was like, man, this is how this car should have came from the factory, just chopping its ass off, just, you know, loud, fast, a lot of low end torque. I mean, this thing is just, it's a blast. This car is an absolute blast to drive and I love it. So anyway, I'm gonna end the video there. Like I said, we'll do a follow-up when, you know, in the colder months and see how much we make on E85 on a colder day. That wraps it up for today. As usual, I hope this video is helpful. I hope this video is entertaining, and I'll see you guys next time.